We are Flaming Dragon. Speedman is with us now. For 50 million, you will get him back. Simple Jack belongs to us now. I said $50 million. Oh, you know see Simple Jack again because we kill him.
This is Les Grossman. Who is this?
This is Flaming Dragon.
Oh, okay. Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!
What's happening, guys? Supin over here, back with another video, and oh, this is gonna be a fucking good one, guys, because I have a lot I have to say about this particular topic. Because honestly, the more and more I thought about EA and this Battlefield 2042 game, the more it really pissed me off. And all I'm gonna ask you is, regardless of how you feel about the situation, just please hear me out, hear what I have to say, because the video is really going to be, a twofold video. The first part's really going to be me explaining why I have issues with EA and the shit they're doing with this game. And the second part, and probably more importantly, is an explanation as to why I have issues with certain gamers' attitudes regarding EA and what they're doing with this game. And in many cases, their attitudes are probably actually more damaging to us as gamers than what EA is doing. But with all that said, let's move into why I have an issue with EA and Battlefield 2042. First, let's talk about the pricing of the game. And for this example, I'm going to be using the current gen pricing of the game. So the price that you would pay if you're purchasing it on Series X or PlayStation 5. So we have the Standard Edition at $69.99, the Gold Edition at $99.99, and then the Ultimate Edition at $119.99. So effectively $70, $100, and $120. And what's the difference between all of these? And by the way, this is a criticism I have for gaming in general, not just EA or Battlefield, but we're talking about this case specifically in this video. What's the difference between them? With the exceptions of the Gold and Ultimate Edition giving you early access to the game, the difference between them is literally just fucking cosmetics. You know, you'll get the Gold Edition and you'll get the Baku ACB-90 Epic Melee Takedown Knife. Ooh. So you can tell all the people you're playing with, "And you see my knife? It's an epic knife. Isn't it awesome? Yeah, it's epic. I didn't have to accomplish anything to get it. I didn't have to do anything special to get it. I just gave them more money, and they gave me an epic knife. Yeah." So, I mean, it's really just fucking cosmetics. And then because they've now changed Battlefield from being a game where you pick a character class as you're going into battle to a game where you just pick a hero, very similar to something like Apex Legends or Rogue Company, you can pay more money to get immediate access to heroes that will be unlocked later on down the line. So instead of having to play the game and acquire whatever in-game currency there is to unlock these heroes when they become available, you just give them extra money, and the second they become available, boom, they're unlocked for you. This game is also going to have a battle pass system. Very similar, again, to Apex Legends, Rogue Company, or even Call of Duty Warzone, where if you buy the premium battle pass, the more you play the game, the more shit you will eventually unlock. Because without the battle pass, as you play, there'll be items that you would have been able to unlock had you had the battle pass, but you're going to miss them. So as you're playing, you're like, oh shit, if I would have had the battle pass, I would have just unlocked a 30-minute booster, or I would have unlocked a new skin for my weapon, or I would have unlocked a new emoji for my character. But because I don't have the battle pass, I missed out on those things, right? So the battle pass incentivizes you to go and purchase it so you don't feel like you're missing out on shit. And they're very clever in the way they show the battle pass, because it's just a timeline, and as you're progressing, it shows you all the shit that you could have, but hey, you don't have the battle pass, right? It is sneaky shit, okay? Now, I know a lot of you right now are saying, yo, Supernova, I really don't see a problem with any of this so far. And hold on, because I'm getting there, okay? Now, what else did we learn about Battlefield 2042 yesterday? We learned that Battlefield 2042 is a online multiplayer only game, as in it does not have any single player campaign. Why does this matter? Because they're charging full price for this game, and they're essentially selling you half of a fucking game, because Battlefield was always a single player game with multiplayer added on. It was never a multiplayer game with a single player campaign. Yes, over the years, there may have been more of an emphasis on multiplayer, but it was still always a single player game with multiplayer on the side. And I know right away some of you are going to be like, yo, Supernova, that's because nobody gives a shit about the single player campaign. Nobody buys Battlefield for the single player campaign, they buy it for the multiplayer. And I'm going to say to you, that's not necessarily true, and in my opinion, I think it's bullshit, because I'm one of those people who would buy this game for its single player campaign. We do exist, and I'm going to ask you a question. Think about who we're talking about here.
Give me your fucking money!
We're talking about EA here, one of the greediest fucking publishers in the business. So is it more likely that A, EA looked at their statistics and said, hey, it looks like nobody's playing single player, let's just not make that. Or B, they said, hey, you know what? I bet you we could scrap single player and still sell these dumb motherfuckers just as many copies of the game. And hey, even if we don't sell as many copies, think about it. We don't have to spend money on mocap, voice actors, someone to write the story, animators to animate big set pieces. None of that shit. And I bet you we can still sell almost the same amount of copies. And you know what? That's going to help us pocket millions of dollars. Right? What do you think is the more likely scenario coming from?
Give me your fucking money!
That internally they saw that just not enough people like or want to play single player, or that they saw internally that, hey, we can probably scrap single player, so close to the same number of copies, if not the same number of copies, and pocket the difference. What do you think is actually fucking happening here? And think about the fact that this is the same EA who sells us a Madden and FIFA every fucking year, even though they're almost identical to the Madden and FIFA that came before. They're pretty much the same game with a roster update. This is the same fucking EA that's like, yo, look at these dumb motherfuckers. They're willing to buy the same shit we sold them last year with an updated roster. How fucking stupid are they? Right? And now again, I'm sure there's some of you out there that are like, yo, Supernova, I still don't see the problem. Well, here's the fucking problem. Even though I don't like the battle pass and the heroes and, microtransactions for cosmetics or any of that bullshit, I can accept it in a game like Apex Legends, or a game like Rogue Company, or a game like Call of Duty Warzone. Because those games are free to fucking play. It doesn't cost me a single cent if I want to download those games and play them. The only way that those games make money is if people are buying the battle pass and the cosmetics and the microtransactions. That's the only way that those games make money. So even though I don't like that shit, in games like that, I can accept it. But Battlefield 2042 is a full fucking price game. So you're going to be paying minimum, if you're on the older generations and PC, minimum $59.99 to then also have battle passes and microtransactions and no single player campaign. Apex Legends, another game published by EA, is free to play, and it made $600 million last year in microtransactions. Which again, hey, it is a free to play game. The only way they're making money is through microtransactions. But here comes EA saying, you know what? How about we fucking put microtransactions in the game and we fucking charge them for the game? Why fucking not? Right? Because this is the same EA who's constantly in hot water for their fucking loot boxes and constantly in hot water because they're being accused of basically having gambling in their video games. Because I don't know if you understand this or not, EA, and not just them, but many publishers throughout gaming, are using our brains and our psychology against us, because things like loot boxes, things like the battle passes, they are designed to take advantage of the dopamine that our brains produce when we win shit. That's why gambling is so addictive. When you play slots and you win something, your brain produces dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and you feel good. That's why anytime you unlock something in these games, whether it be through a loot box or the battle pass or something, there's always some type of noise, some type of chime, some type of flash or effect on the screen. Because that's how it triggers the dopamine in our brains. And that's how they get people addicted to these systems. They're taking advantage of us. These publishers are constantly looking for new ways to fuck us over, new ways to siphon cash from our wallets. They're constantly doing it, and they're constantly pushing more and more and more. So whereas people may see Battlefield 2042 as, oh look, this new online multiplayer game is coming out, I see it as EA saying, hey, I bet you we can sell these dumb motherfuckers this online-only game and still make a fuck ton off the microtransactions. At the end of the fucking day, they're selling us less, but they're asking more for it. And I'm sorry, no. They can go fuck themselves. I'm not buying this game. And the thing is, you shouldn't either. Let me get into the next part of the video, because as destructive as I think publishers like EA are to gaming, it is the mentality of certain gamers out there that I think is ultimately more destructive, because there are millions of you out there who are apologists for EA, or who make excuses for the shit they do, or who say, oh, it's not a big deal, or oh, it's not bad, or oh, it's okay. And I'm here to fucking tell you, no, it's not. Something else you need to think about when it comes to EA, specifically fucking EA, is this scrapping single player thing is not something that's new or something they just thought of. They've been trying to get rid of single player for years. This is the very same EA who back in 2010, yes, 2010, 11 fucking years ago, tried saying that single player games are dead. Here's the exact quote. They're very comfortable moving the discussion towards how we make connected gameplay, be it cooperative or multiplayer or online services, as opposed to fire and forget, packaged goods only, single player, 25 hours, and you're out. I think that model is finished. 11 years ago, they were trying to tell us that people aren't playing the single player. 11 years ago, they were trying to condition us to the idea that people don't care about single player, all they care about is multiplayer. And again, I think that's bullshit. And even if you personally don't give a shit about single player, it doesn't mean that people don't give a shit about single player, or that single player games are dead, as evident by many single player games becoming huge critical and financial successes since 2010. So EA has been trying to condition us to not care about single player for over a fucking decade. I want you to think about that. Here's a couple of comments to illustrate the most common kind of pushback I get when I complain about Battlefield 2042. I never played Battlefield single-player campaign since Battlefield 3 and always wanted it out of Battlefield series. Battlefield is a multiplayer game and EA should give 100% time to Battlefield Online. No campaign is great in my opinion. It means more development went into the part of the game that has the most replay value. Plus, it's been confirmed you can play against AI bots. Not sure if you need to be online for that, but it's a great addition, I think. And look, I understand what these people are saying and where they're coming from. But I would like to say that to say shit like, well, I don't play the single player, so fuck it, I don't give a shit about it, is a bit selfish if we're being honest, right? Right? You fucking selfish sons of bitches. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that these individuals, and again, I understand where they're coming from. They're thinking, hey, if they don't spend money and time and resources on single player, they can put more time and resources and money into multiplayer and make the multiplayer experience much bigger and much better, right? And hey, that is a fair outlook to have. That is a fair thought to have. That is a fair conclusion for you to have, seeing that they've scrapped single player. It is totally fair for you to think, oh, they scrapped single player to take that shit and roll it into making multiplayer even better. Totally fair to think that, right? And you know what? In the world of Leave It to Beaver, maybe that would be the case, right? Like, gee, guys, they're scrapping single player to put all that money back into making multiplayer better. That's how it would work in fucking like 1950s Leave It to Beaverland, right? But in the real world, in 2021, with a company whose motto is,
Give me your fucking money!
if you honestly think that they're taking whatever money they're saving by scrapping single player to then roll it into the multiplayer to make the multiplayer a bigger, better experience, then I have some fucking magic beans to sell you, my friend. I have these magic beans to fucking sell you because Jesus Christ, you are fucking naive. Why would they? There's no reason to. They can sell us the same shit they sell us all the time, minus the single player, pocket the cash, still sell the same amount of copies, and have the microtransactions. And I know that there are going to be some of you out there who are going to say, well, it's not fair to compare Battlefield to games like Apex Legends or Call of Duty Warzone because it's such a bigger game, right? There's going to be way more players in the lobbies, and there's vehicles, and the maps are much bigger, so it's fair to charge money for that. And I'm here to tell you, no, that doesn't mean shit. That's what Battlefield has always fucking been. So you can't try to make the excuse to me that, oh, well, it has all this other extra shit, so it's worth the full price. No, that's what it's always fucking been. But they scrapped single player and filled it with microtransactions. So no, I'm sorry, that is not a valid excuse. There's no reason for them to be charging full price, and there's literally no reason for them to roll money back into the multiplayer. Because everything they've learned over all the years of Madden and FIFA, everything they've learned from games like Star Wars Battlefront and their loot boxes, everything they've learned from Apex Legends is how best to bend us over, fuck us, and then siphon cash from our wallets. And how best to accomplish that by doing as little as possible. And the reason that they do this, or the reason that they know they can keep doing this and getting away with it, is because we continue to give them fucking money. They know it doesn't matter. They're going to get the money from us anyway. It doesn't matter what they do. We're still going to be dumb enough to give them money. There's a term that you may or may not have heard. It's called FOMO. And FOMO stands for the fear of missing out. And what that basically means is people will either be willing to do shit or be willing to buy shit just because of the fear that they are missing out on something that somebody else has or is experiencing. Like someone who maybe doesn't want to buy Battlefield because of all the reasons I've listed, but their friends bought Battlefield and they're afraid of missing out on whatever fun times they could have playing with their friends. So you know what? They cave and buy the fucking game anyway. Even though they, like me, don't want to support the company for all the reasons listed. But that FOMO kicks in. That fear of missing out kicks in, and they buy it anyway. all of these publishers, they know that FOMO is real. They know that they can get the money from us anyway, that it doesn't matter. And that's why, like I said, I am not buying this game, and I implore you to not buy this game. I don't care how much you want to play. I don't care how cool the gameplay may look come the 13th when they show us the gameplay. I don't care. I implore you to not buy this game so we can send a message to EA that no, it is not cool to sell us multiplayer-only games stripped of features that the game used to have, filled with microtransactions and all kinds of other bullshit that is acceptable in a free-to-play game, in a game that they are going to charge us full price for. It is not okay. And any of you out there who think it's okay, I'm going to tell you that you are wrong, and you are part of the fucking problem. It's because of people like you that these publishers continue to bend us the fuck over and push harder and push harder and push harder and slowly strip more shit away and more shit away and more shit away. It's because of fucking people like you. And I'm asking you to stop. Look at what we were able to accomplish when it came to Battlefront 2. When we all took a collective stand against EA when it came to their fucking loot box bullshit. There's zero reason why we can't send the same message when it comes to Battlefield 2042 and the shit that they're trying to pull off here. But as long as we don't say anything, as long as there's no pushback, as long as you just give them your fucking money, they're going to continue to pull this shit on us. And look, I understand people like Optimus Code who are making the argument that, hey, that's fucking capitalism, right? This company puts a product out there, and we as the consumers decide whether or not we want to give them money for that product. That is capitalism. I totally understand that, and I agree. And I'm all for capitalism. And at the end of the day, I honestly don't give a shit how you spend your money or what you do with your life. Just like people who want to use illicit drugs, right? If you want to sit there and shoot up heroin every day, hey, it's your fucking body. You should be able to decide what you do with your own fucking body. I don't give a shit what you do, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to your money. I don't give a fuck how you spend your money. The difference here is that this is a company who is taking advantage of us, taking advantage of the consumers. And they will continue to do so if we just hand them money. So while I understand the argument that, hey, that's capitalism, in this instance, it is a company who is taking advantage of us and will continue to do so unless we do something about it. And it's not just EA. This instance is EA. But as other companies see what EA is doing, they're going to follow suit. It'll be a domino effect. When one gets away with it, the other is going to try it. Because it's monkey see, monkey do in any fucking industry. When somebody does something and finds success, their competition is going to do the same shit. So other publishers are going to see what EA was able to do and say, you know what? We're going to do the same fucking thing. Why not? EA did it. Why can't we fucking do it? Letting publishers and companies get away with taking advantage of us just sets up the precedent for other companies and publishers to take advantage of us. But at the end of the day, like I said before, it is your money, it is your life. Do whatever you want to do. But just keep in mind the things that I've said, because I think I've made it really clear why just giving EA your money is not only hurtful to you, whether you realize it or not, but it's also damaging to the entire gaming industry when it comes to us as consumers. And that's why I am not going to give EA a single fucking cent for Battlefield 2042, and why I am telling EA that they can go fuck themselves. And I really, like I said, implore you to do the same. And with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. And that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you agree with anything I've said today in this video, do me a favor and please share this video. Share it to as many fucking people as you possibly can. Because I think that this is a message that ultimately people need to hear. These are things that people need to think about before willingly handing over cash to publishers and companies. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next Supernova.